Welcome students. So in today's the session we will be discussing regarding the industrial applications of robots or robotic manipulators. It's very common topic. We will be just having a quick look on some of the typical examples. There are more or enormous number of examples other than what is been presented here. So you can have a self-reading on this on various web portals, on even on textbooks, and lot of books and resources are available for getting more and more knowledge, as well as not knowledge, more and more application informations. Okay, so basically when we move on to the on applying the robots into in industry, these are the major factors which has to be taken into considerations. The part position and orientation, how we are going to position the end effector and the gripper and its orientation to perform that particular application. Okay, then next we have the gripper design, what type of gripper we need to use in this particular scenario for performing the application, and what are the minimum distances through which the robotic end effector as well as the robot has to be moved to perform the required application, and the robot work volume. So how much and what should be the size of the envelope in which the of the application, that is if you look to that, if I am having going to implement a spherical robot, when it such a spherical robot is implemented in the industry, a human or any other robot cannot be operated inside that envelope. Okay, so that work volume depends upon the size of the robot, so that should be considered. So if you increase the size of the robot, the work volume also increases, but you won't be able to use that and that space for any other purposes, so that should be taken care. Then we have the robot weight capacity. So if you need, as I told, if you need a larger work volume, you need to increase the size of the robot, and when you increase the size of the robot, the weight of the robot also obviously increases. So that should be taken care with respect to the civil limitations, civil construction limitations, structural limitations. Then we need to consider the accuracy and repeatability. So we are going to perform some repeated task again and again inside the industry. So the accuracy obtained by when we perform the same operation again and again, and how much repeatability, that means uh, with even if the accuracy is less, whether it is getting repeated in the within the tolerance range, all those things should be taken into consideration. Then which type of robotic configuration, whether you need to go for a Cartesian type or a cylindrical type or a spherical type, that should be considered. And the number of degrees, whether you need to have apart from the basically we say that the configuration is based upon the work envelope, and the degrees of freedom is based upon the work that you have to do, whether we need a 4 degree of freedom spherical robot, whether we need a 6 degree of freedom spherical robot, etc. Okay, and the control mechanism which has to be implemented. And the third one is a machine, last one is a machine utilization problems. That is when we are going to use this, what are the limitation that is going to happen. Okay, and in the long run, what type of deterioration will be happening on the robots. So if being a graduate engineer, if you wish to design a prototype of an robot which can be used for some sort of industrial application, since we see that in the current situation we have a lot of scope for introducing robots into the industries of our country. And being a graduate student, if you are interested in developing some prototypes, I suggest that you need to uh, present your work, or you need to design proceed with your work such that you are considering all of these points one by one, and with proper explanation for choosing this particular type, or proper explanation on how you considered your these factors in the design and implementation of the prototype. Okay, so the first basic operation of the robots inside the industry is for pick and place. As here from the slide itself you can see there, the robot gripper, we have some sort of gripper which it is something, and it is a vacuum gripper which is going to pick around 6 pieces from this tray, and it is placing onto the cardboard box here. So this just by pick and place operation. Then we have the palletizing and related operation. Palletizing, as I told, you will be having individual boxes or individual units which has to be grouped into a total. So here we have two blocks here. So from this it is taking place. So this robot will be taking two boxes together from here, and it is kept to another big group. Okay, now this is a big palletized. നമുക്ക് കുറേ ഗുളികൾ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അതിനെ നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഒരു എന്താ പറയുക മെഡിസിൻ നമുക്കൊരു മെഡിസിൻ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ആ മെഡിസിനിൽ ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു സ്ട്രിപ്പിൽ 10 ഗുളിക വേണമെന്ന് പറയും. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഓരോ ഗുളികയായിട്ട് ഉണ്ടാവുന്നത് ആ ഓരോ ഗുളികേനെ എടുത്തിട്ട് 10 ആ 10 പാക്ക് ഉണ്ടാക്കും. അപ്പോൾ അതിനെയാണ് നമ്മളിവിടെ ശരിക്കും പാലറ്റൈസിങ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. യു ആർ ഗോയിങ് ടു മേക്ക് ദം ടുഗെദർ ഇൻ ടു ഗ്രൂപ്പ്. ഓക്കെ, then we have the die casting application where you can see that you are performing some very high operations, and this is a robot. So this robot material has to be protected from this high temperature, so we can see it has been covered, so that has to be taken care. Okay, so the materials, everything should be taken care, and you can see here the hot molten metal or some particle is been picked and it has been dropped, so that much of heat has to be compensated on this particular wrist side. Now this is a plastic molding application where you can see there are several plastics which has been molded into a different shape. Okay, so for that you are having different types of this vacuum grippers, okay, or magnetic grippers. It's basically a vacuum gripper. It is providing the using this robot, you're going to press it, and using that under pressure the plastic is getting molded into a desired shape. So for that the desired shape which has to be obtained is being fixed using this gripper end. Then we have the forging and related operations. So here, instead of the high temperature, you will be applying amount of forces and you will be printing. നമ്മളൊരു മെറ്റൽ ഷീറ്റിൻ്റെ മുകളിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ പ്രിന്റ് ചെയ്യാനൊക്കെ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ അതിൽ ഹൈ പ്രഷർ അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യാന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അത് നമുക്ക് ആളുകൊണ്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. അപ്പോൾ നോർമലി നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഒരു ഷീറ്റ് മെറ്റലൊക്കെ ചെയ്യുകയാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ഇതിൽ ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് എന്താ പറയുക, അതിൻ്റെ മുകളിൽ ഒരു ടൂൾ വെച്ച് നമ്മൾ നല്ല ശക്തിയായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ഹാമർ കൊണ്ട് അടിക്കണം. അപ്പം അങ്ങനെയുള്ള പ്രോസസ്സ് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്നതിന് പകരം റോബോട്ടിൻ്റെ ഇത് വെച്ചിട്ട് നമ്മൾ ഇംപ്ലിമെൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യാന്നുള്ളതാണ് ഫോർജിങ്ങിൽ വരുന്നത്. Then we have the machining operations where you can see using a tool it is basically performing the machining operation. So that is ഒരു സ്ട്രക്ചർ ഉണ്ടാക്കുകയാണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഒരു തന്നിട്ടുള്ള ഈ കൊടുത്തുള്ള സംഭവത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ഒരു വൈറ്റ് മെറ്റൽ സിമെൻറ്റോ പാർട്ടില്ല ഇതിനുള്ളിൽ നിന്ന് എൻഗ്രേവ് ചെയ്തെടുക്കുകയാണ് ഒരു പർട്ടിക്കുലർ ഷേപ്പ്. അപ്പോൾ ആ എൻഗ്രേവ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഡസ്റ്റും കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഇവിടെ വരുന്നുണ്ട്. അതുകൊണ്ടൊന്നും നമ്മളുടെ റോബോട്ടിന് യാതൊരു പ്രശ്നം ഉണ്ടാവാൻ പാടില്ല. ആൻഡ് ഹിയർ യു ക്യാൻ സീ ദാറ്റ് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് സെൻട്രലൈസ്ഡ് AC because the heat has to be dissipated. Okay, and there is no other machines apart from the മെഷീൻ റോബോട്ട് ഇവിടെയൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് ഫ്രീ ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ അത്രയും എൻവലപ്പ് നമ്മൾ അതിന് യൂസ് ചെയ്യണം. സ്പേസ് ആണ് നോക്കുന്നത്. Now we have the spot welding application where you can see that only several points. So this is a material and I need to attach this particular metal on several points on the surface. So only those points are been welded. That is known as a spot welding. And stamp pressing means same size of metals. So we will be having a metal sheet and they will be cut into a uniform size and they are being departed. So this is known as stamp pressing operation. And continuous arch welding means instead of a single points you can see that it is going to weld the entire path. Okay, continuous ആയിട്ട് വെൽഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. മറ്റേന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു സ്പോട്ടിൽ മാത്രം വെൽഡ് ചെയ്യുള്ളൂ. ഇവിടെ നിന്ന് നമുക്ക് ഫുൾ ആയിട്ട് വെൽഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. സോ ഫോർ ദിസ് അപ്ലിക്കേഷൻ you can make use of the robots. So here instead of a gripper you are having the arc welding tool. Then we can use the robots for spray painting. Again you can see that when you are passing the paints, small amount of paint will be spreaded over and your robot should not be get spoiled by different colors. So you're covering the robots and you are applying the spray. So to the wrist you are applying a spray painter. Okay, spray painting machine has been applied here to apply the paint. Then we have the assembly operations where you can see a proper gripper, a pick and place gripper is been used for picking different parts and assembling, performing the assembly operation. So there are several robots here and they will be taking different parts from their side and it will be placed onto the structure. Okay, and this is the inspection robot where you can see we have a particular machine part or some vehicle part is here and it is using some laser beams. A vision system is being used incorporated onto the wrist for inspecting whether there is any defects or some other issues. So not only the defects, it is basically using a laser guided beam to check the quality of the elements, check whether there is any manufacturing effects or some um, deteriorating components present on the structure, etc. Okay, so this is another type of inspection robot which is going to inspect the components. So this is basically something related to the industries. So this is for automobile industry, checking the quality of the metal and the uh, drawbacks in this metal. But here you can see it is not using such a highlighted laser beam. It is using some UV rays or some other camera mechanism to inspect the uh, compounds present here. So this is something like our biological labs. Okay, if you need to inspect the virus or microorganism, you can install a but you cannot go into this. So you can use a microscope here, and you will be observing the outputs through the communication cable in your system and seeing what is the changes that is taking place here. Okay, so these are some of the few examples that is used for in which you can use the robots in industries. And the logical approach, if you are interested in this and you are developing a prototype, and if a company comes into you, so this slide is not a is not a part of your syllabus, but since you are I'm giving an example. Being an enthusiast student, you are designing a prototype of industrial robots, and take into consideration the present scenario. If a company approaches you saying that we are ready to take you, and the task given to you is to introduce a robotics into our industry for this particular application. Okay, so in if you're given such a task, what are the steps that you can follow in order to suggest that implementation topology? First of all, the initial familiarization with the technology. You need to study about how much of the workers, human laborers, is familiarized with the robotic technology. Because once you are implementing the robot, it's a one-time process, but you know how to operate it. And if the company you are forced to quit the company, then that company cannot run that robot with another person because no one else remove. So first of all, you need to see that how much of the workforce is initialized with this particular family, this technology. So that should be taken care even in your absence. Even if you are not quitting, in your absence, it should be taken forward. Okay, so that should be first of all considered. And if not much, if the workforce is not equipped, then you need to perform some equipping activities. Okay, the plan survey to identify potential applications. So the robotic, on introducing a robot to the industry, it's a huge financial investment. So you need to first perform a survey in order to see what are the potential applications that is possible by implementing such a robot and investing such a high financial amount. Then we need to go for the selection of the application. So once you identify the potential applications, you need not uh, think of implementing a robot which can be used for solving, or which can be used for uh, realizing all the application that you are identified. From that, identify the most suitable and the most needy applications. Then we can go for the selection of the robot, which type of robot you need. Then the detailed economic analysis and capital authorization, the economic benefits and the capital investment that is required. Then we can go for planning and engineering the installation. After you have performed the first 5 steps, then you can go for planning and engineering the installation. And once that is been done, and finally you can install it and start execution or making implement your in the robot assisted industry. Okay, so this is a general guideline when uh, you yourself is going to start up an firm with robots, or you are being employed in an industry where they are interested to introduce robots to their firm for the first time. Okay, so thank you. That's all about the industrial applications, a brief introduction review. Now, if you're interested more, you can read to the lot of resources that is available. There are a lot of resources in our standard source resources. Like there are standard resources like IEEE, Robotics and Automation Society web page, and a lot of other in the companies like ABB, etc. Okay, thank you once again.